A Chinese girl buys a Japanese Spitz, but as it turns 3 months old, she realizes it's everything but a dog. One of the cutest creatures in the world is the one that has fur and 4 legs, the wagging tail and innocent-looking eyes. Yes, here we are talking about a dog. Aren't these loyal species the adorable ones? They give us all the reason to cuddle with them, and when they place their paws on our hand, the feeling is blissful. Who needs their significant other when they have a loving pooch with them? Those who already own a pet must know how exciting that feeling is of bringing home the tiny mute animal from an animal shelter or a pet shop. The mere feeling of knowing that pet will be living with you forever is priceless. However, Ms. Wang had never thought that the Japanese Spitz dog that she had been taking care of since the last 1 year would turn out to be everything but not a dog at all. Ms. Wang had her jaws dropped. Was it because of fear, shock, anxiety, or what none really knows? She had never expected that the dog she had been loving with all her heart since the day she had pet her would turn out into something that was not domestic at all. She was taken aback. For an instant, Ms. Wang did not believe what the staff member at the vet's clinic said. But when she heard the unbelievable words flowing through the mouth of the expert doctor, her world stood still. She had loved and nurtured this adorable being with all her heart, and now a realization about its identity struck her hard. The protagonist of this tale, popularly known as Ms. Wang, is a young woman in her mid-20s. She's a resident of China and is done with her graduation. While staying in her hostel, she had taken care of puppies in the back lawn of her university, and since then she has developed a bond with animals. Little did she know that her young attachment will take her to an adventure in the future. Wang was fond of dogs. She would often read about different breeds and would imagine owning one Japanese Spitz one day. That breed was the irresistible one to her. She couldn't wait to cuddle with the pooch and run after him playing and making most of life. And that day she knew what she was supposed to do next. Wang visited various different pet shops and animal shelters in the hopes of finding the best dog. She even consulted various vets and breeders to know which pooch will be the best one to home. After visiting a few animal homes, she made a decision she eventually had to regret later. However, Miss Wang soon realized that howsoever good knowledge one might have, the animals are the unpredictable ones. None can really guarantee anything about a pooch. What made the woman who adores pets say something this tricky? It was any other Sunday morning, but it was special for Wang as she visited a pet store, and today with the sole purpose of bringing home a pooch. She stepped in the store and was mesmerized finding so many pups in there. Though she loved them all, one white furry pup caught her undivided attention. As expected, the white furry cute-looking pup was none other than a Japanese Spitz. He was adorable, and taking eyes off of him was too tough of a thing. In Miss Wang's words, she fell in head over heels in love with the pup the moment she saw him. What next? Wang, without wasting a single moment, decided to pet this puppy. She brought him home and was over the moon to own him. She wanted to be the best and the most devoted pet owner. And she could even be, but only if it had been a dog. It wasn't really easy to please this Spitz. Wang and her new friend would have a gala time, roaming in the entire house and playing with each other. She would feed him with food and would make him sleep next to her. But one day she realized that something was strange about her best friend. Wang's little ball of white fur started to grow, and as he turned around 3 months old, Wang realized that something was off. The dog grew, but it wasn't growing into a dog or similar, rather something totally out of the box. The doggo had apt and neat white fur. It had 4 legs and paws, the perfect ears and stature, but still there was one thing peculiar about his facial features. On having a closer look towards those, Wang made some remarkable observations, and what she had to say about those will leave you also wondering. As Wang had a good knowledge of various dog breeds, she could sense that there was a thing different in her Japanese Spitz. But as they say, no knowledge is ever enough. And after what all Wang noticed, even she had a similar say. She said his fur got extra thick than expected. As days passed, the Japanese Spitz facial features grew sharper, and with this somehow it became evident to Wang that the animal she had been domesticating wasn't an animal that domestic. His nose got a little pointed, and as the dog transformed a little more, Wang had to rush to an expert. Wang recalled that she paid around $200 to own this pup as it belonged to a rare breed. Wang decided to not get such absurd thoughts hit her, but the next thing she noticed compelled her to believe that she was not a dog owner. The pooch's tail grew longer than normal dogs. For once, Wang could have ignored the dog's different facial features, but when other dogs, who would often play with other young pups, started getting scared of her Japanese Spitz, she got a little tense. Why would other pups be frightened of a species similar to them? Wang immediately booked an appointment with an animal doctor and drives all the way to visit him. At the clinic, one of the staff members asked her about the issue, and she said, "My Japanese Spitz has a thick fur and sharp bent eyes, a long tail and some weird behavior." What she got as a response had her head revolving. The staff member then said, "Are you sure it is a dog, only as it did not appear to be one to me?" Wang was shocked. What was this animal? The staff member further said that it was more something wild than domestic. Wang could not wait to hear what the expert had to say now. The moment Wang steps inside the expert's room, the expert was taken aback to see what a woman was literally carrying a wild animal in her arms, and that too this comfortably. After hearing the entire situation, the doctor told Wang that one thing is for sure, that the assumed to be a dog is not a dog. It is a wild animal, and what it actually was perplexed Wang. The expert told Wang that she is carrying a domesticated fox with her. Wang was petrified. A chill ran down her spine. All along, she had been assuming it to be a dog, but it turns out to be a wild fox. How did this happen when she bought it from a pet shop? The assumed-to-be puppy was small in size and was a cub when Wang bought it. And just because the Japanese Spitz puppies and fox cubs looks really similar, when in their initial years, people are often fooled about their respective identities. The experts told Wang that the difference between a Spitz and a fox can only be determined by their different and specific facial features, and these are highlighted only after a pup or cub turns a few months old. Just because she bought the dog at a very young age, there were no scopes of her to find that it wasn't a dog but a fox. The animal professionals further stated that the fox becomes distinctive from Spitz when its fur grows thicker, the face begins to point, and the tail gets longer. However, one of the major changes that the animal starts to smell. Probably, it was this smell which made other dogs scared of Wang's fox. Now, everything was making sense to Miss Wang. She recalled how even the pooch's food habits changed. Initially, the animal would eat twice from the pup's food tray, but as he grew old, he would not even eat dog food. Yet there was one thing which Wang was concerned about. Wang was glad and astonished at the same time that when the animal was actually a fox, a wild one, then why didn't it ever attempt to attack or escape from her space? She looked at her pooch with gloomy eyes and started to cry. Wang had tears in her eyes. The animal she had loved with all her heart wasn't a pooch. They both had spent some of the most amazing times together, cuddling, talking, and sharing their emotions. It was probably Wang's affection that the wild animal lost its basic instinct and never attacked or harmed her. No matter of what one's true identity is, an animal always falls prey to human love. The love and care, the attention of a devoted owner, are all that is needed to tame them off their wilderness. But now Wang has to take a decision. Wang now had to take a call, whether she would be keeping this fox, as she had been doing, that thinking of it like a dog, or would she be giving him over? There was no doubt that this was a loyal, intelligent animal, but was Wang's place the apt place for him? Wang soon realized that even if she provides the fox with the food she liked, her house was a space too small for him as he was a creature of woods. And not only this, the animal needs to live in its habitat and stay with others like him for a better life, and Wang took a heartbreaking step. The best possible place for Wang's fox to live was in a zoo. Wang visited the local zoo and contacted the authorities. She asked them if they would give space to her fox, and the zoo authorities had no reason to deny a home to an animal that belonged to the woods itself. Before handing over her beloved pet to the zoo, Miss Wang needed to make sure that the fox cub is not diseased, and after a checkup, she got the good news that the baby fox is absolutely healthy and fit to be adopted by the zoo. Even though the fox looks as cute and fluffy like a Japanese Spitz, they are wild beings. Even being badly in love with her pet, Ms. Wang had to give him away because she knew that her house was not the right place for this animal to reside in. The animal needed more space to move about freely and feel like home. Wang had no other choice than giving away her pet. She, with a heavy heart, handed over the fox to the zoo authorities. However, one thing that Wang felt good about was she had the visitation rights to meet her pet whenever she wants. Wang was very happy for the fox, and she got a new and bigger natural habitat for him, the place where he could move about freely and could mix up with other foxes like him. Wang took a sigh of relief and had all her memories stored with him in her heart. Ms. Wang, from her experience, has a piece of advice for all. She says that whenever one goes to buy a dog next, especially a Japanese Spitz, the person must go along with the dog breed specialist so that he or she doesn't end up being fooled. Well, that's cool advice.